I let strangers on the internet plan my day at EPCOT, and just wait till you see what I'm doing. Hey there, Man Fam, and welcome back to the Strangers Decide series, the episodes where I let travel websites like TripAdvisor and Yelp plan my day in the theme parks. Today, I am here at EPCOT, where I am going to do the best and worst rides, shows, and snacks according to the internet. And boy, wait till you see what they've chosen. Now, if it's your first time tuning into one of these, you might be thinking to yourself, why would I count on the internet to plan my day when I'm lucky enough to do this professionally? Well, one, it's funny. And two, it's really interesting to see what travel sites that are not theme park or Disney specific, like Yelp and TripAdvisor, suggest people do. Because when you take out things like nostalgia or a diehard love for the brands and you're looking at more of your casual fans, sometimes the recommendations are very, very interesting. So again, we're going to be doing 6 things today at EPCOT, and I'll be reading some reviews along the way, as well as providing some of my own thoughts and expertise on where the internet got it right and wrong. First up, the rides. Now, both of the attractions on the list today are in the neighborhood of World Discovery, and I feel like it's not that hard this time to guess which is which. That's right, you guessed it, the worst ride in EPCOT? Test Track. No, just kidding, this isn't my personal list. It's right here, it's Mission Space. Mission Space had a cumulative rating of 3.35 out of 5. Second runners up, I guess, silver and bronze of the worst, Journey into Imagination with Figment at a 3.5, and The Seas with Nemo and Friends at a 3.8. But Mission Space tends to get on people's bad side because despite having incredible technology that Disney partnered with NASA on, it makes people very, very ill. In fact, it is the only Disney World attraction that comes equipped with barf bags, and there's a custodial team assigned to this building exclusively because so many people Ralph. But is it truly the worst ride in EPCOT? Well, I guess we gotta ride it to find out. Now, Mission Space is a flight simulator where you are going to get into a capsule and be assigned a position as you go on a mission to space. When it originally opened, there was only one version of this attraction, which is now called the Orange, More Intense Mars mission. Not only are you going to be enclosed in a small space with a simulator screen, but that version also spins. So because so many people were getting sick, years later they developed the green, less intense Earth mission. So I highly recommend, if you've never been on this attraction, doing the green side first, and then if that makes you feel okay, then try the orange. I do not recommend starting with orange. I should note that the orange side, the more intense side, usually has a longer line. It also has a 44-inch height requirement, while the green side usually doesn't have too long of a wait and only has a 40-inch height requirement. I will be doing the green side today because I don't hate myself.
Good luck, Earth Team. You are on the clock. Welcome aboard, team. Closing.
So kiss
A reminder,
me,
Commander. Your assignments are to activate flight sequence, and for landing, activate manual control.
Hold me
Loading
like
flight
you'll
plan.
never
Engineer,
let me
just a reminder.
go.
You will activate the flight cameras when initiated. Commander, activate flight cameras. Now. Initiated.
Hawaii! Hi, Moana.
Just launched from the Pacific.
Those people are braver than me.
Passing over the Himalayas, you should have a gorgeous night view of India. You should be seeing Greece and Italy. And up ahead, Paris, the city of light. To be a challenging approach, and we'll need all of you working together.
Who could have
Pilot,
predicted
initiate
this?
Landing sequence.
Okay.
Now. Back to center. Steady.
Requested to shake the hand of the daughter of the bravest man I ever knew.
Down and clear.
Well, I survived Mission Space. Honestly, the green side doesn't really upset my stomach that much. I haven't eaten yet, which is why I started with Mission Space, so that probably helped. Orange, different story. Not my favorite ride, but also I don't think the worst ride in EPCOT. It's probably the ride I ride the least because of the nausea possibility, but I actually think both Journey Imagination with Figment and Test Track are worse attractions than Mission Space. I think Mission Space doesn't get enough credit for how technologically impressive it is, and it does hold up. Even though it's a pretty old ride at this point, the technology still holds up. So yes, nausea factor, but I don't actually think it's objectively the worst attraction in EPCOT. Sorry, Figment. But you know what? Don't just listen to me. Let's go to Molly's Review Corner and see what the internet has to say. Now, as always, Alan has scoured the internet to find the best reviews on the things we're talking about today. I have no idea what this is about to say, but they're usually pretty funny. So here's a 1-star review. Awful is the title. Mission Space Green, piece of cake and actually fun. Mission Space Orange, awful. There should be a law against rides like this. It made the rest of my afternoon miserable. The car actually spins so fast that it makes you feel like the G-force in takeoff of a spaceship. That's kind of the point. It's actually impressive that they did it. When you get off, you are so drunk you want to throw up. What's worse, that feeling stays with you for hours. I had to find a bench in one of the outdoor eating areas and lay down for over an hour trying to get myself back together. Miserable. Listen, I have felt that feeling. I sympathize with this person, but it does warn you 58 times before you get on the ride that there are going to be G-force simulators and that it is a very intense attraction. I'm also telling you right now, please do the green side first to gauge whether or not you can do orange, and do not eat anytime in the near future before riding this ride. So yes, I can fully agree. It is most likely to make people sick, and that is no fun, and it can definitely ruin your day. So, you know, I get it, but Lieutenant Dan did try to warn you. And now headed to the best ride at EPCOT. I'm not even going to pretend and try and fake you out. It's, of course, Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind, winning the metal platform with a 4.55, followed by a tie, so I guess 2 silvers, no bronze this round, with Soarin' Around the World and Remy's Ratatouille Adventure, both with a 4.5. Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind is a first-of-its-kind Omni coaster where you are going to jump aboard a starship and help the Guardians save the galaxy. It's got a really fun theme, basically the same way that there are country pavilions here in EPCOT around World Showcase. This is a pavilion from Xandar, the planet where the Guardians are from in the film franchise. And they are bringing you to their planet to experience some intergalactic travel and show you that Terrans and Xandarians are not that different. But of course, things go awry, so you're going to team up with the Guardians on Rocket's harebrained scheme to save the day. Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind is incredibly popular, so much so that the only 2 ways to ride this attraction are by joining a virtual queue or by purchasing a fancy ride lightning lane. Broke down both of those in the Epcot Genie Plus video. And I do find it interesting that despite the hurdles you have to get on to ride this ride, it's still the highest ranking attraction, even by people that maybe aren't as diehard Disney as some of you and I. It has a 42-inch height requirement. I should warn you that it does make some people motion sick because of the way the cars move. They never turn in a full 360 like the teacups, but they do rotate from side to side to show you various things throughout the coaster. And one of the best things about this ride is the fact that you don't know what song you're gonna get. There are 6 different songs that could play, and so it's kind of a fun game. Are you gonna get September? Are you gonna get Everybody Wants to Save the World? Are you getting Conga? Nobody knows until you take off on this thrilling, incredible coaster. So let's go.
Onto your vehicle.
We'll be right behind you.
Nothing to worry about.
Unless we cannot stop this unusually large man.
What is that noise? Noise? No one's gonna stop rock and roll from existing.
They're not coming with us. I see. It is meaningless. Well, then welcome to the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, she is so much fun, absolutely incredible. For me, it's not even close that this is the best ride at Epcot. I would say for me, though, I would put Soarin' in the top 3. I'd also put Spaceship Earth. A little bit of flavor of old school Epcot, a lot of nostalgia for that one for me. I think maybe Spaceship Earth isn't objectively in the top 3 rides. I think if you're not a Disney fan or don't have a lot of nostalgia for old Epcot, it wouldn't crack your list. But I think for a lot of lifelong Disney fans, Spaceship Earth would be in your top 3 over Remy's Ratatouille Adventure. And that's what I mean by it's kind of interesting when you get folks that maybe are coming for the first time or again don't have a lot of memories of coming as a kid to 80s and 90s Epcot, then Remy is probably objectively a better ride than Spaceship Earth. But now it's time once again to return to Molly's Review Corner and see what the internet has to say about Guardians. We got a 5-star review here. So my friend and I got the Lightning Lane passes for this ride. I had absolutely no idea what it was. I've never seen the movies. I know, I'm the worst. So I thought we were just gonna see all these rooms and then we were gonna ride through a spaceship or something. Wrong. It's a roller coaster. An indoor roller coaster that shoots you backwards, and all I could say is I was screaming my head off the whole time while she laughed hers off so much. I swear I thought she was crying from laughing so hard at my screaming at one point. For the record, I'm not afraid of roller coasters. I was just taken aback and then just kept screaming from adrenaline. PSA, hold on to your glasses if you wear them. They'll want to come off 5 stars. Just imagine getting on Guardians and not knowing it's a roller coaster. I love that for this person, and I love that they didn't hold that against it. All right, and with the rides out of the way, it's time to talk about shows. Headed across fake future world for our first one, but is it the best or the worst? Only time will tell. And by time, I mean mere seconds for you because of the magic of editing. All right, we've made it across the way to the Imagination Pavilion to head to what the internet says is the, surprise, best show in Epcot. Now, I should note when talking about the shows on this series, we're talking like theater shows or nighttime spectaculars, not things like Streetmosphere, aka like the performers of the different countries. Most of those don't actually have any kind of reviews on these websites. Spoiler alert, there's only 6 shows that count here at Epcot. There were not enough votes for Luminous or Beauty and the Beast sing-along. But according to the internet, the #1 best show in Epcot, the Disney and Pixar Short Film Festival. The Disney and Pixar Short Film Festival scored a 4.4 out of 5, and the runner-up with a 4.25, Impressions de France. The Disney and Pixar Short Film Festival takes place in the Magic Eye Theater, which once housed Honey, I Shrunk the Audience, and before that, Captain EO. Well, kind of before and after that, Captain EO, which, for the record, would have been my vote for Best Theater Show in Epcot. And it is exactly what it sounds like. You're gonna watch 3 Disney or Pixar shorts, but they've been enhanced with 4D, meaning it's gonna have 3D glasses, the seats are gonna move, there's gonna be some effects like water, and perhaps you've not seen these shorts before, it's Get a Horse, Piper, and Feast. Now the show is very cute. I like all of these shorts. Also, it's 20 minutes sitting down in air conditioning. There's also basically never a line, so certainly don't use Genie Plus here. It's just one of those shows where you're gonna wait until the next show to start, so your wait is however long you have until then. I do like the little pre-show though. They provide some information about shorts and the importance of those to the Walt Disney Company, especially because you get to hear from one of my personal heroes, Jennifer Lee, who's the Chief Creative Officer of Disney Animation Studios. Disney and Pixar Short Film Festival. Now, I do get a little teary every time during Get a Horse because Walt Disney's the voice of Mickey Mouse. And I do think it's very, very cool how they've taken that very old cartoon and updated it with current technology. And the transformations between the black and white hand-drawn animation and the color 3D animation is really incredible. My biggest gripe with this show is I wish they would change the shorts more frequently. They've been the same forever. So if you've seen it once, like, there's not real motivation to come back. And both Disney and Pixar have tons of really cute shorts that I would love to see them incorporate here. Do I think it's the best theater show in Epcot? If you take out the nighttime spectacular, you're left with like the movie experiences. And I do think this is probably the best one and the most generally appealing. Awesome Planet is beautiful, but it makes me really depressed because we're killing the planet. And I sometimes want to live in a sweet, naive bubble when I'm at a theme park and not think about how terrible humans are. And then the shows in both Canada and China require you to stand, and that's an immediate no on a hot Epcot day. I also think Impressions de France is beautiful, but very dated and a little boring, so that's the runner-up. But for me, I do think this is probably the best choice. And I do think it's very underrated, though probably not a must-do for most people in there in Epcot. But now, once again, we turn to Molly's Review Corner to see what the internet has to say. What an unexpected gift while at Epcot. A crowded place with intense heat. There was no line to get into this one, and it provided AC. On top of it, you got to wear 3D glasses and watch 3 well-done short films. All 3 of us loved it, including our 5-year-old daughter. 5 stars. Well, hard to argue with that. Now that we have done our 2 attractions, it's time to check off some food. So much to eat here in Epcot, especially in the World Showcase. You've got fan favorite locations all over the place. So what came out on top? And perhaps more interestingly, what came out on the bottom? Well, we are in the UK right now. Which one do you think we're grabbing? Fish and chips have been acquired. And if you thought the UK was voted the worst food in Epcot, you're quite wrong. The opposite, actually. The UK came out on top. Specifically, the Yorkshire County Fish Shop came out on top with a total score of 4.45 out of a possible 5 stars. The runners-up, Takumi Thai, the signature Japanese restaurant, and a three-way tie between Refreshment Port, the one at the beginning of World Showcase near Canada that has poutine, Leal, the bakery in France, and La Choza, the margarita and snack stand in Mexico. Now, the Yorkshire County Fish Shop sells basically one thing and one thing only, and that is the classic English fish and chips. They do also have a couple of beverages, including a few British beers on tap. So as a pro tip, if the pub's busy, you could mobile order from there and get a beer a little bit faster. Do I think the fish and chips are the best food in Epcot? Well, of course, I'm going to eat some to find out. And here is that beautiful fish and chips from Yorkshire County Fish Shop. It's either going to be 2 small pieces or 1 big piece of fish. It's going to be a whitefish, usually cod, perhaps haddock. And then you've got your chips on there, which to us Americans are fries. They're like the steak cut fries. I always get a bunch of malt vinegar and maybe some lemon juice to go on top. So let's dig in. All right, I've thrown some malt vinegar on this bad boy, and let's dig in. Not gonna lie to you, that first bite was just batter, so I went back in for a second one, and it really is good fish and chips. It's always cooked well. You've got that beer batter on the outside, which is nice and crispy. Nice light white flaky fish on the inside, not too fishy. Gotta love the lemon juice. I wish it was fresh lemon juice. Gotta love that malt vinegar. But do I think this is the best food in all of Epcot? I do not. I think it's very reliable. I think it's a classic. I think it's kind of funny that the thing that wins over anything else is the place that serves one thing and one thing only. And I think it's a very popular choice, especially when eating and drinking around the world, to stop and grab some fish and chips. So I'm not mad that it's number one, but it wouldn't be my number one. I would pick the French Bakery over this. I would pick some of the sit-down restaurants as well. Le Cellier, the signature steakhouse in Canada, is amazing every time I've gone. I love Via Napoli, the Italian pizza place that serves the best pizza outside of Italy, according to the cast that works there. I love everywhere in Mexico. I agree with Takumi Thai being high up because I think that is a signature luxury, very unique, very exquisite experience. So I don't know that I put Yorkshire County Fish and Chips on top, but I can understand why it might come out as a fan favorite. But you know what? It's not just about me. It's also about Molly's Review Corner. Title, delicious. Have always been a bit apprehensive to eat here in the past, as obviously being from the UK. Oh, okay. We get good fish and chips at home, but this was delicious. The beer battered fish was a generous portion and tasted great. The chips are not chip shop chips, but still very good. I'm assuming chip shop is something in the UK. You'll have to let me know down in the comments. But that's a 5-star review from someone from Bristol. So I feel like that's as good as it gets. What could be the worst food? We have the worst food and the worst show left. So kind of did this in the wrong order. I like to normally end on a high, but we'll mix it up. All right, I am stuffed to the gills after that fish and chips, but our next stop is right here in Canada, the United Kingdom's next door neighbor, only here in Epcot. Now the question is, we're headed down this path here in Canada that leads you into the beautiful Victoria Gardens, but are we going to Canada Far and Wide or Le Cellier? If you guessed we were going to Le Cellier, I'm sorry. No, like truly, I'm very sorry that I'm not going to Le Cellier right now. But no, Le Cellier was not voted the worst food in Epcot, which is probably a good thing because it's delightful. Signature steakhouse, known for that filet mignon, the mushroom sauce. They've also got an incredible old-fashioned here and some other whiskey drinks, amazing mashed potatoes. Some people have had kind of mixed service or mixed experiences here. In my multi-years of coming here several times, I've never had a bad experience. But honestly, that's irrelevant because we're headed to Canada Far and Wide. According to the interwebs, Canada Far and Wide, the Circle Vision show here is the worst show in Epcot with a score of a 3.4. Runner-up, so I guess silver medal for worst show, it's actually a 3-way tie between our remaining shows here at Epcot. All of them had a 4 even. Awesome Planet in the Land Pavilion, Reflections of China, the Circle Vision show in China, and the American Adventure, which is the animatronic show detailing some key moments in American history. Canada Far and Wide is a Circle Vision show, like I said, which means it's a 360-degree theater, and it kind of takes you on a tour of some of the highlights of our neighbors to the north. Now, the previous show here was called Oh Canada, and it was narrated by famous Canadian Martin Short, who I first met as Franck in the Father of the Bride series, and it was very, very funny. It is now narrated by Johnny and Moira Rose, which you'd think would also make it very funny, because Catherine O'Hara and Eugene Levy are delights. But, well, I don't know who scripted this.
And 5,700 miles.
Or as we like to say in Canada,
9,300 kilometers. Quebec City is one of North America's oldest metropolises. It's just one of our many natural U.S.-Canadian connections. A wonderful portrait of multicultural diversity.
And that was Canada Far and Wide. It's nothing bad about it per se, but it's kind of boring. You don't get to sit down, and it's truly mind-boggling that they got two of the funniest people on the planet, and it's not even remotely funny. So it's not for me. I will say, though, I think Reflections of China, the Circle Vision show there, is worse because that one is very outdated and honestly a little insensitive. I'm surprised they haven't swapped it out. They were supposed to, and then the Panini, and then now no one talks about it anymore. Wondrous China was supposed to come, but maybe that'll still happen. So for me, that one's worse. I also would like to say that I don't think American Adventure deserves a place on the worst podium. In fact, I think that one deserves to be on the best podium. I'm not gonna lie to you, I kind of forgot about it earlier when I was talking about Pixar. Because I think that one is the most impressive of any of these shows because the way those animatronics work are amazing, especially the one that goes upstairs. And I know it sounds like I'm just biased and really love America, but that's not it. I think that is, subjectively speaking, the most impressive of the shows, although perhaps not the most universally attractive, because if you don't care about American history, you probably won't care about that show at all. All that said, it's time for the review. 2 stars. It could have been way better, and it actually was better when Martin Short did it. He added pizzazz to the show, while the 2 new people narrating, Eugene Levy and Catherine O'Hara, tried to add their humor, but it was scripted so terrible. The content wasn't that great, lots of beautiful pictures and such, but nothing really profound. It would have been cool if you had some history of Canada or something, but basically Ariel, not the mermaid shots. Aerial shots would have made it better, which is funny because she spelled it like the mermaid did. So, you know, maybe the Little Mermaid would have pizzazzed it up a little bit. I can agree with this reviewer who gave it 2 stars. And now we've only got one thing left on our list today, the worst food. Where do you think I'm going? Ni hao from China, where we are headed to the internet's least favorite restaurant in all of EPCOT, the Lotus Blossom. The Lotus Blossom is the quick service restaurant here, and it had a 3.4 rating out of 5. I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm not that surprised by this. I've often said that it's a bummer that the quick service locations, both in China and Japan, are not great. And speaking of the one in Japan, Katsura Grill, that was our runner-up silver medalist for worst restaurant in EPCOT with a 3.5. And a little surprising to me, the Crêperie sit-down restaurant in France was number 3 with a 3.6. Now we are headed into Lotus Blossom to grab something. I think I'm gonna get a kid's meal because it doesn't take a lot of food to decide if something's good or not and see if it truly deserves this level of shame. Now Lotus Blossom Cafe, often likened to a Panda Express, is that. It's Americanized Chinese food, something that you might order in a mall or late one night with DoorDash. And they've got things like orange chicken, Mongolian beef, sweet and sour chicken, etc. All right, I grabbed my kids meal, which I do want to give flowers here. One of the kids meal choices is an egg roll and 2 pot stickers, which if I'm gonna order anything here, it's probably that. So I got 1 egg roll, which is chicken, and 2 of the pot stickers which are pork and veggie. And then on the side of the kids meal, you got some carrots, 3 carrot sticks to be exact, apple juice, and then your choice of beverage. It's very hot today, so I grabbed a little water as well as some soy sauce and hot sauce. So let's try. All right, let's go. I'm gonna do the dumplings. Let's do the dumplings first. I'm more excited about those. Also, they got me some of the dumpling sauce. Those did not break very well, but that's fine. All right, dumpling first. Practicing my chopstick skills. Yep, that tastes like Chinese food I'd have delivered to my house or Panda Express. Does that mean I like it? Yeah, because I like those things. But am I gonna choose that at EPCOT? The sauce is really salty. It's saltier than normally the dumpling sauce you get, so I'm gonna stick to the soy sauce and hot sauce. The dumplings cooked well. The dough is nice and chewy. There's plenty of filling. It's not overly salted when you eat just that, so it's a fine dumpling. And now let's try the egg roll. Yeah, that also tastes like an egg roll that I got at a Chinese restaurant in the mall. Remember when you'd go to the mall in like the 90s and they'd give out samples on the toothpicks? Yeah, that feels like the kind of place I got this egg roll at. It's fine. It tastes like an egg roll. It's somewhat crispy on the outside. It's a little doughier than I'd like it on the inside. It's not offending me. Neither of these things are offending me, but neither of these things are good either. And when I come to Epcot, I want good food. I want better interpretations of international food than this. And I do think you can get that inside Nine Dragons, which is the sit-down restaurant here. I feel like that is an underrated restaurant that actually has some very unique dishes, including some spicier and tasty things, like the spicy mala beef is my favorite. So yeah, I actually do agree that this is the worst restaurant in Epcot, not because it's bad, but because it's Panda Express and expensive Panda Express, and there's much more unique and delicious food to eat around Epcot. Or if it is a festival, China's booth usually bangs, so eat there, but not here. That's what I would say, sorry. But let's go to the review corner for our final review of the day. So after drinking a margarita from Mexico a little too quickly on an empty stomach, I needed some food quick. Since this was the next pavilion, it's where we stopped. It's not, but perhaps you were too deep in your margarita to recognize Norway. We ordered the orange chicken, which I would say tasted like if you bought it frozen from the supermarket and made it at home. Panda Express is better in my opinion. My mom tried the egg rolls, which again were just okay. I can't recommend eating here because there's too many better options at the park. This place is a little too generic food that you can find back home, but if you're craving Chinese food, it'll do. You know what? That 3-star review, I agree completely. Again, it's fine. I'm not offended by it. It's not bad. It's just not that unique. And again, there's a lot of unique things, great food to try in Epcot. Check out our Diet Epcot draft we did recently for some real highlights. So yeah, if you've got someone in your party that's a pickier eater that like loves egg rolls, I think you'll be fine. But otherwise, keep on moving. Well, friends, that is a wrap on this episode of letting strangers from the internet decide my day at a theme park with their reviews on trip websites. Definitely let me know what your favorites and least favorites are here at Epcot. Check out our other videos with this game. We've done it at lots of other theme parks. And in the meantime, friends, make sure to rate, review, subscribe, follow us on social media, come hang out with the Man Fam in Discord. And until next time, friends, I'm Molly, and it's been magical. Bye!